Welcome, everyone, to Constructed Chaos, where we run our D&D live streams every single Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Because today is Monday, we're running our Chat Plays D&D stream. If you guys are unfamiliar, in the chat, you can type !guidance for instructions on how to participate. And if you already know what's going on, you can type !roleplay to just hop into the opt-in list. Make sure you stay active in chat so you get selected to pilot one of 3 characters that we've been running through this adventure, all 8 episodes leading up to this one. Episode 9, things are really starting to heat up, and I can't wait to see what you guys do tonight. So I won't drag things along for too long here, but I do want to mention a couple of tiny tweaks that I've made since last time we streamed. As always, I'm always trying to make the Chat Plays D&D experience a little bit better based on feedback that we get from chat. And so, number 1, if you type !R attack without doing any modifiers or anything, it'll automatically use your highest modifier for your ability scores. So that might speed things up a little bit. And then second, the automatic text-to-speech say command stuff will only work when we're in the main scene now. So when we go to BRB, you guys don't have to worry about using an ! To make sure you're not using up your usages of the characters. At least it should work that way. That said, we do also need to check out our friends over at Tabletop Beard. We have the Druid Beard Oil tonight to check out. This one smells like forest and wild berry. And you know, I like to theme these beard oils for for episodes that we're running. I'm not going to allude to too much, but maybe there's some druidic shenanigans coming up just around the corner. If you guys want to try this out and use some in your own beards, make sure to go to Tabletop Beard's website. The link is in the description below, and use code chaos20 for 20% off of your entire order at checkout. Do also check out this amazing comment we got last stream from Andres Marrero. He said, well, that was quite the session. The guy really shouldn't have tried to mess with Nerethys in his sleep like that. I agree. Nerethys, if you guys missed it, ended the last combat with a massive crit. Or rather, didn't end it, but it basically brought it to an end. Piloted by our very own Odd the Bard that night. Jason, good to see you in the chat, man. Good to see you along. Russell, good to see you. I won't keep things running for too much longer, but do check out our friends over at Darkport. As you know, they run every single Tuesday over at their channel, and their link is also in the description. So that's tomorrow. If you want even more D&D action, you can run Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday between us and our friends over at Darkport. But with all that said, it is finally time to roll that beautiful bean footage.
The final strike severs the pallid tendril snaking from Kytheron's back. It recoils with a wet snap, shriveling into the cracks of the spiral path. The merfolk collapses to his knees, clutching at the floor as his body trembles. A body stolen and misused by Zealous. His eyes flick wildly as he gasps for air, words spilling from his lips in a torrent of broken Aquan. His voice cracks with fear and confusion, the sound meaning nothing to your ears, until he forces out one word that you do understand. Harufi. Finally, his eyes go soft, and his gills grow still. In the distance, you can clearly see the center of Nerethys, from which the warding storm spirals out. But even with this mystery looming ahead, you dread confronting what may have become of your friend.
Welcome back, everyone. So, now that chat has seen the intro, we can go ahead and get started assigning our characters for tonight. I did check the roleplay opt-in and the active users list, and it looks like we've got a few of you already in line. So let's find out who's going to be piloting to start out Yancifer, the Shadow Sorcerer Halfling. Looks like it's going to be XIVM tonight, starting things off as Yancifer. But who will be manning Valen, our muscle mommy barbarian? Jason 96 in as Valen, and last but certainly not least, nearly bringing down the house last session is Nerethys. Let's see who's going to be piloting our Fire Goliath
Muscle
paladin.
mommy up.
Looks like Andres Marrero, just like your comment said last stream, that guy shouldn't have messed with Nerethys, and he certainly did meet an ill end because of what he said and what he did to our Goliath paladin, and now you get to be in control of what happens next. As the body of this merfolk, whose true name you never really knew, sags to the cracked stone of the spiral path. Their breath stills, salts and grit clings to the...
Never mess with a sexy Goliath when they sleep.
Yeah, you never quite know what they're going to do, Jason. Salt and grit clings to his scales as his grip loosens on his trident and it clatters from his grasp. The storm winds curl around the cathedral's towers in the distance, and just beyond you, you can see that ever-present light coming from the center of Nerethys. What are all of you doing in this moment? Don't suppose anyone has a revivify scroll. Yeah, I don't think we covered that in any of the basic equipment. I'm not sure any of the characters have that as well. If you guys are curious, if you haven't pulled it up already, your character sheets are in the description below, so you can see exactly what you have available. I did kind of double check everything. Looks like for the most part, you guys are looking pretty good. Nerethys took quite a lot of damage, but he dealt just as much last session. So what are we thinking? XIVM as Yancifer, Jason as Valen, and Andres as Nerethys. Yeah, no revivify scrolls hanging out in the mysterious
Valen,
barbarian
with those
storage
magical
space.
eyes of yours, is that trident worth taking?
Where's that revivify scroll when you need it?
Yancifer sort of prodding at Valen to look over this trident that's fallen out of the grasp of this merfolk. Valen is somewhat distracted by the fact that they don't have a revivify scroll, trying to bring back this once ally turned enemy and now turned dead merfolk in front of them. If you would like, Valen, you certainly can use those magical eyes of yours to take a look at this weaponry you've seen before, but perhaps now are seeing in a bit of new light.
I think you have some sort of polearm use, don't you, Valen?
Nerethys bows to their fallen friend as the merfolk is encased in a glass tomb by the remains of Nerethys' power that also brought him a new tentacle.
Yeah, the innumerable tentacles. I say innumerable. I believe there are 6 of them now. But yeah, I'd say Nerethys definitely feeling that bit of camaraderie for this individual that did help you when you first got here. Although they were a bit on edge about your presence at first, they certainly were an ally for a time, and you feel as though perhaps a proper burial may be the best course of action next. So you begin to prepare that as your allies are considering what they may be doing next. What do we think, guys? Jason and XIVM?
Valen uses her magic eyes to see anything that she might be missing. Her dark, sexy eyes scans the area, looking for anything that could help in this situation.
Okay. You tune into your magical awareness, that exposure to wild magic flowing through your veins allows you to sort of sense other magical objects in the nearby area. And indeed, you do detect that this trident does have some magical properties. And as you lean in to inspect it a bit closer, you can see it's gleaming metal, sea-worn and half bound in strips of green kelp leather that has somehow resisted the rot of ages, seems to be stirring up some of the silt beneath it. There are fine etchings along its entire length, tracing back in a path of curling waves. The tines taper to needle-like points, but they have a subtle current of air swirling around them. This certainly appears to be quite magical, and by your estimation, could be of some importance. I'll say you can either make an Arcana check or a investigation check to try and figure out what this thing does, Valen. That would be exclamation point R,
Valen
Arcana,
tells
or
Naragath and Yansifer what she sees in the Trident of Power.
Valen passes that information along.
Yansifer, Valen, you girls saw a percussion last night? It appears that they are bringing more than just water now. Friends to be possessed and processed, Nerethys growls.
Yes, an astute observation, Andres, as previously you did see a palanquin within this cathedral where you first encountered Kytheron. Again, the merfolk whose true name you never really knew. Although that palanquin didn't have a typical vessel on it. So Andres, I'd imagine that Nargath may be thinking perhaps they carried the body of this merfolk from wherever they did battle with them back to the cathedral so that they could be possessed. Okay. Jason, as Valen, as you kind of look over this trident, it's hard to understand exactly what it does with a 7. But still, you pick it up, you find that it's quite well balanced, and you come to understand that the trident at least is a +1 weapon. There's probably some other attributes there that may require you attuning to it a bit, perhaps over a short rest, but you understand at least that the quality and make of this sees the trident quite an able weapon to be wielded. It's not just your typical run-of-the-mill weapon. You know that much.
Above table. Does this count as a polearm for Valen's feature we picked up last level?
Nerethys offers a prayer to his Firegate goddess for deliverance and protection for their dead friend, their friend currently in danger, and for aid to...
Oh. Nargath is there it
aid
is.
to the storm guide Aenir.
Awesome. I'm going to double check that tridents are polearms or not. I don't think that they are, but...
It's hard to understand what it is exactly, but it's well balanced and magical, but other than that, it is unknown to me. I feel this weapon has been given to use by the gods of forge and fire.
So tridents are not considered polearms in D&D 5e. However, based on, the relative strength of this, it may still come in handy, maybe something still that you'd want to use. That said, Nargath, Andres, as you focus on laying this warrior to rest, making sure that their weapon does not get buried along with them. It still has some fight left in it. You lower the fallen warrior to the silt, his lifeless form setting as the sea itself begins to sort of cradle him from up beneath the soil. The stillness is broken by a sudden stirring, a current that coils around the three of you like a whispered vow. It carries the scent of salt and storm, wrapping each of you in its unseen embrace, and in that breathless moment, you feel a quiet pride take root in your chest, as if Nerethys itself remembers your deed and wills you forward with newfound resolve. Each of you now have gained heroic inspiration. So I will mark that off on your character sheets here. That'll allow you to re-roll any die roll at any point. Just remember that you have it, and that could be very useful. Actually, don't know where that is located on... I see it. So as this individual was laid down for their final rest, Valen, you're kind of eyeing this trident left in your hands, feeling as though it's found its way to you with some sort of divine purpose. What are the three of you doing? What would you like to do next, moreover? What are we thinking? You can still see that cathedral in the distance where you originally fought Kytheron. However, you did not fight him there the second time. He caught you unawares as you were approaching. Understanding that you probably expected to find him in the cathedral where you last saw him. Russell says, "Rest in peace, Kytheron. We hardly knew ye." Renarius, thanks for dropping in for a like and to say hi. Hi back to you.
I
Hope you're
feel
having a great night.
the power of Nerethys within my heart and soul. She compels me to push forward with this trident. I will use it in the name of Nerethys to destroy the wicked evils of the land.
Aptly
I think
said.
we need to get Nargith cleaned up a bit. You are bleeding again, big guy.
Oh, Nargith is certainly hurting, and I would say that both of you are able to see that quite clearly, as Nargith is left with only 6 of their 36 total hit points. Does that mean you guys would like to short rest now, or would you like to press on and short rest a little bit later? It's up to you. Certainly could go either way, and there's nothing wrong with either. That was a pretty intense fight. Even as a rematch, you guys definitely had to pull out quite a few stops. Nargith is the only punching bag I've ever seen that hits back. Agreed. It hits back hard with wielding a lance like a baseball bat.
Nargith, come have a seat here, and I'll tend to you.
Okay. I imagine compelled by the voice of his halfling friend, Nargith sort of maneuvers over towards Yansfer, as Yansfer may have a spell or perhaps a potion or something that they may be able to use.
Naragath, you are injured during the intense fight. Let's take a short rest now so that Nerethys can soothe your wounds.
Okay. So, the three of you find a little bit of privacy.
As Nerethys finishes the tomb and his prayers to friend and gods alike, he asks, "Which way did the procession go? We have friend to save. I will heal on the way." There is a ember in his eyes.
Okay. So it seems like there's a little bit of conflicting ideas within the party. Nerethys is definitely pushing to move forward. Yansfer and Valen are sort of urging him to take a moment, take a break. And Russell is now piloting Valen. Welcome in, buddy. So are we relenting to Nargith's wishes and pushing
if you
ahead?
say so, big fella.
Sounds like it. Okay. In that case, you continue the way that you know is forward. The way that all of these depths cultists keep carrying these vessels of water through the city. And that is further along the spiral path. That path eventually takes you to the same cathedral that you ran into a couple of sessions ago. To one side of it, you can see that there is a pile of rubble that would be hard for you to climb over. Now knowing that the cathedral is likely left empty, you can definitely take a shortcut through
Don't
the
worry,
cathedral.
you two. I can use my healing hands for some first aid.
It's not a bad idea. Andres, let me know how many of those hit points you'd like to use from your healing hands, if that is truly your intention. But I'll say that the three of you push into this cathedral cautiously, but understanding that you've cleared out every enemy that you found within there upon your last visit. And just ahead, you see this cathedral that continues to stand. And as you enter, you feel that aura of hollow and hushed, just that worrisome energy that settles in on your shoulders. Its vaulted walls are just as you left them, etched with carvings that creep like veins towards the ceiling where they twist into a web of stone tentacles. And at the far end, the altar rises, the very one where Kytheron knelt when you found him. Would you like to press through this chamber or do a bit of investigation before you move on? I'll leave that to the group.
I will just 1 hit dice for healing hands, or just 10 hit points.
Okay. Got it. 10 hit points from healing hands going towards Nargith's hit points. Need to make sure I mark that off because I always forget and then it comes up later. Lay on hands. That's
Valen investigates the room.
Okay. Valen, I'll say with your magic eyes still active, make an investigation check with advantage. So exclamation point R, investigation ADV. Welcome in, Dark Knight Yin. You missed the E in roleplay there. Oh boy. Another little error I've found in my spell check engine. It's causing more problems than it's worth, I think. But I know how to fix that real quick. There. That should work in the future, but an 18 is plenty good enough for what you needed, so we're not going to worry too much about that. As you look across this chamber, Valen, with your magical eyes, and don't see any hint of residual arcane energies, but you do see that altar that Kytheron was praying to before. Its surface is covered with beautiful depictions of waves and tentacles surrounding the same 3 unblinking eyes that you saw in the mosaic in the square before. Once again, the uppermost eye has been shattered, jagged edges framing a hollow where the gaze should be, while the 2 others beneath it remain intact. Their grooves are still worn smooth by centuries of silent devotion. You certainly come to understand through this investigation that this is not just a bit of time-worn damage. The top eye of these 3 has been broken for some reason, and it has been done ritualistically so. Like it held great importance at one point in time, and perhaps there was something within the ranks of this ancient civilization that caused them to lose their respect, their reverence for that third eye. Is there anything the rest of you would like to do while you're in this cathedral
Calling
chamber?
the ancient sacred flames, Nerethys ignites his beard, and eyes start to glow like torches. Light of divine origin covers what his eyes fall upon, a light from goddess to the mundane.
Yes, Nargith now looks out across the chamber. You can definitely see Valen is kind of eyeing these 3 eyes stacked atop each other. And based on your experience and the combined experience between the 2 of you of the vision you were granted by Einir only sessions ago, wherein Einir and Tethys were speaking, I will allow you to make a history check, Nargith, to see if you can understand the significance of this eye that has been broken. We'll see if you can uncover some of the secrets within the depths of Nerethys. I love that you guys are really getting into the lore and coming to understand exactly how this ties into a bunch of the other stuff. Oh, it's going to be !R history, just history, and it'll add in all your stuff. I'm going to have to just take out that autocorrect feature. I think it's causing more harm than good, but A for effort, I guess. Okay. With your 13, thinking back to what you experienced in the vision before, where Einir told Tethys that she is no mere priestess of Zealous, she is mother of the tides. You imagine that perhaps there were 3 priests represented by these 3 eyes, priests and priestesses, of which Tethys was one, and perhaps Tethys defected? That's the best explanation you can come across. It seems to make sense based on the information that you have. Dark Knight Yin, welcome in, now piloting Nargith. Can't wait to see what you have in store for us, my friend. And lo and behold, as the 3 of you continue to investigate, you do see a doorway. The door that was once there has long since fallen away. There's a doorway near the back of the chamber, beyond the altar, that seems to lead past the rubble that was blocking your way previous and would allow you to continue to travel the spiral path, if you would like to continue onwards. There are more mysteries, more histories to uncover ahead. And as Nargith said earlier, you have a friend to save. Civilizations in the vision said, "The eyes are upon us, don't look back." That is also true. With a 13, you may not come to understand what exactly they were speaking of. You know only what you've been exposed to. Yeah, the civilians, yeah. I think I said civilizations. I read it from there, but I understood what you meant, Andres. Yeah, these puzzle pieces are beginning to fit together, but the picture is not quite clear just yet. So what XIVM, Russell, and Dark Knight Yin would you like to do as Yancifer, Valen, and Nargith? Now within this empty cathedral where once you did battle. For those of you interested, while I have a moment, do also check out the link to join our Discord in the description below. We added some new features to our Discord over the last couple of weeks, and it has been very active since Gen Con. Lots of community to be had. It's been nice to see everybody kind of interacting amongst themselves, and I pretty much always have Discord open on my other monitor when I'm working, so happy to chat with you guys anytime. We even discussed the potential of a monthly gumbo giveaway.
I would like to cautiously peek at the path forward to make sure it's safe.
Okay. Russell, I'm going to have you make a stealth check first to see how stealthy you can be.
Well, Nargith, you wanted to continue, yes? Maybe we should try the door.
Russell, as your friends begin to maneuver, you kind of hold your hand up to your lips as Valen and begin to maneuver. Okay, a 16 on stealth. You're definitely careful to avoid any piles of rubble within this chamber that might settle and give away your position to any enemies that could be waiting on the other side of this doorway. As you peer around, you can at least see that you are indeed still alone, but I'm going to have you make a perception check.
As long as there is not another tentacle surprise behind it.
Yeah, there are tons of tentacle surprises in Nerethys, so definitely wise to expect that, hiding around every bend. So now, Russell, I'll have you roll a perception check for me to see how much you see. you at least come to understand that you're alone, but what lies beyond this cathedral may surprise you. Man, that's a lot of 13s tonight. With your 13, because you're being cautious, you don't get your head all the way around the door frame. You just barely peer out with one eye. Your depth perception is a little bit off. But what you see, most surprising of all, is not any grand structure or elaborate statue or mosaic, but rather the lack thereof. The spiral path continues to press in, and the ruins around you in this district are hardly more than crumbling rubble. Zealous's pale tendrils stretch across silt in every direction, weaving through the streets like ripples in the sand. Each one pulses faintly, carrying a cold, rhythmic thrum that you can feel in your bones, even from this distance. The remnants of Nerethys in the distance seem to fall away, the arches, towers, and statues vanishing into a desolate expanse of open sand. That is what you see, and far in the distance, that same stormlit veil casting an eerie glow over this barren field. Not a whole lot of places to hide, and in fact, this looks a bit like the area when you first got here on the outskirts of Nerethys, as if the city here never existed, but you know you're in the center of town. Perhaps this was the epicenter for the great storm that keeps Zealous at bay. So, with that information at hand, XIVM, Russell, and Dark Knight Yen, what would the three of you like to do? Are we pressing on into this wasteland expanse where naught but shoddy structures and small piles of rubble remain? Or do we take a moment within the cathedral? Perhaps lick our wounds and consider the fact that there are other dangers here within the city. If those eyes are any indication, there were, at one time, 3 priests and priestesses. You know Tethys defected, and you know that Kytheron has been dealt with. It leaves one. Perhaps. You know I'll always leave room for a twist there. Andres is suggesting that Yansfer set some of these tentacles on fire using their shadow flame goldfish. I like how that's become canon. Yansfer is known as the shadow land shark and has adopted some pet shadow goldfish. Imagine some illusory magic goes into that. So what are we thinking, the three of you? What path should we take? The one ahead, or the one that leads you to a bit of safety here within the cathedral? Knock, knock. Shadow Shark. Welcome in, Ira. And there is an eel to tame. Yes, Valen does have a barbed eel in a jar that they've been slowly taming. You've gotten it to feel indifferent towards you, but not quite friendly. So if given the chance, it might try and scurry away, but it won't attack you anymore, at least. It's not your pet yet, Jason, but it is well on its way. It is slightly electric.
It might be best to take time to recover and plan. It doesn't look like there's many places to rest ahead.
Valen, that's a pretty astute observation, and unless I hear any naysays from the other 2 members of the group, that is what we will go with. So, as the 3 of you settle in within the husk of this cathedral, the last remaining structure before the barren
Sometimes,
expanse.
the more dangerous paths are the one that hold the answers. I would never trust a path that looks safe as danger is hidden there.
That is a good point, Nargith. As in the past, you have certainly succumbed to dangers lurking in the shadows. But at the very least, it does sound like perhaps a short rest is in the near future. So I'll say, as the three of you begin to consider resting within the husk of this cathedral, that you have cleared out the last remaining structure before this barren expanse before you. I will allow you all to decide how many hit dice you're rolling over your short rest. Each of you should have... did you guys take a short rest? I thought you guys took a long rest last time. Those short rest dice should be reset. Yeah, for some reason, Valen has 2 marked off. But Valen, you're looking pretty stout.
I shall try my luck and roll 2.
Okay. In that case, Nargith, I will have you roll just exclamation point R 2d10 plus 2d10 plus. Sorry, hang on. I think you have a +2 con mod, so it'd be 2d10 plus 4. Yes. We'll see how much health you get back. You are certainly the most in need of the group. While Nargith does this, the other 2 of you can roll your hit dice as well. You can either factor in your con mods, or, and I see you did +2 instead of +4, because you're rolling 2 hit dice. You get to add that con mod twice, so that's 14 points of healing, Dark Knight Yin, bringing you back up to 30, as Nargith sort of takes a moment to cauterize some of the wounds that mark their skin. Looks like Valen is just rolling 1, which gives you a pretty hearty 12 hit points back, almost back to full, with 46 out of 48. And then what of you, XIVM, as Yansfer? I think you're full up, so I'll just hit the short rest button for you. Okay. So, as the 3 of you...
Can I try making friends with the eel during the rest?
I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a good downtime activity. Valen, I'll have you make an animal handling check. So, exclamation point R, animal handling. It should add in your modifiers, if you have any for that. And I'll say that Yansfer can help Valen, but she doesn't need it with a natural 20. Okay. Valen, you lift the lid off of this vessel containing the barbed eel that you captured earlier. It recoils into a defensive stance, but isn't in a attacking position. You can tell that its neck isn't like recoiled as if it's about to strike. No longer are any arcs of electricity crackling between its 2 fangs. It simply sits recoiled, a bit cautious about you. And as you reach in, perhaps even offering some more of your rations to it, it begins to slither around your arm. And now that you're getting a close look at it, it looks up at you, and you notice that its barbs are not going to stab into you unless it rapidly pulls away. The barbs are designed in such a way that it will jab an opponent as it slithers past them, but not onto them. And you have made friends with this barbed eel. You now can use them essentially as a familiar, if you would so please. Jason says, feed it some of the tentacle. I don't know if that's a good idea, buddy. As the 3 of you near the end of your short rest within this cathedral, Nargith,
Valen, you sure this is the best idea? It's not exactly pet material.
it certainly seems quite fond of Valen at this point, having wrapped up their arm and now sort of resting its head on their shoulder. It looks fitting for the muscle mommy barbarian, almost like a tattoo on your arm. But as the three of you complete your short rest within this cathedral, Nargith, that sense that you had earlier about not taking silence as safety begins to ring
If
alarm
nothing
bells
else,
in your mind.
it's good for morale.
At the very least, it is definitely good for morale. You've made a friend in an unlikely place. But as all of you finish your short rest, I'm going to have each of you roll a wisdom saving throw. So we'll start off with Yancifer. Type !R whiz save. Then we'll move to Valen afterwards and just kind of go in order there. I want to see if you succumb to anything specific. Okay. 11. Andre saw this one coming. It might not be as bad as you think, but certainly the DM was conniving behind the screens. Russell, if you would, roll a wisdom save for me as Valen. Okay, a 10, an 11 and a 10. Nargith, I'll have you now roll a wisdom save. Saft, welcome in, piloting Valen. Dark Knight Yin, if you would, !R whiz save. Okay, 10, 11, and 13. Near the end of your short rest, each of you find yourselves dreaming, wide awake, as if a vision has fallen over you. The air is still, and you stand within this barren landscape out ahead of you. The wind threads through hollow shells, each gust coaxing a whisper that gradually strengthens into a voice. Across the pale sweep of sand, you catch glimpses of Aruvi's form, refracted in jagged shards of sea glass that are half buried in the dunes. She stands far, then near, then vanishes entirely, only for her gaze to find you again through a warped reflection. Her voice is never where you'd expect it to come from. Sometimes it's behind you, sometimes just in front. A low, amused laugh ripples through the shells, circling you like the tide. You've come so far, only to find the sand giving way beneath your feet. And just like that, you are back within the cathedral, somewhat taunted by whatever maniacal vision was gifted to you. A warning, a threat of something looming in the distance. You count your blessings that you were at least made aware, but still it unsettles you. You feel worried about what may lie ahead, not only the safety of your friend Aruvi, but whatever foul thing now inhabits her and the threat that they pose. What would the three of you like to do? The electric eel is now our fourth character. I love that the electric eel is so powerful. Sorry, popular. It is quite powerful too. It's got some cool abilities, some movement-based damage, and the ability to steal reactions away from their enemies with its jagged teeth that deal electric pulses. What are you thinking? XIVM, Saft, Dark Knight Yen? Is it time to press ahead? Imagine each of you is considering what this vision may have meant, what purpose it may have had. Perhaps it was only meant to taunt you. Perhaps it was meant to plant seeds of doubt.
Nerethys would say to press on as he feels the longer they stay in this place, the more likely they will succumb to a bad fate.
Not a bad idea. So as he conveys this to his other two allies, you all continue. The cracked expanse of the shattered shells crunches faintly beneath your boots. At this point, you've been traveling cautiously for several hours. Each step brings new worry into your mind as it scatters fragments of pearlescent glass across the sand. Every so often, a wandering gust coils through the open ruin, its bite cool and salt dry. Valen, I'm going to have you make another perception check for me. And it might not be for the reason that you think.
What did we notice about the location revealed in the vision?
What you noticed is that it is this barren landscape stretched out before you. What you found was that Aruvi's form was there, sort of taunting you, cackling, telling you that you've only come so far to have the sand pulled out from underneath your feet. All right. An 18 perception check. As Valen, you're cautiously observing your surroundings, and after the most recent gust blows across you, you notice some of the moisture actually being wicked from out of your arm. You see the eel sort of wrapping a bit more tightly, hoping to keep some of that moisture to themselves. And as you look across this eel and consider what it may represent, you begin to think about the tentacles that you have been keeping with you. You pause and drop your gaze to each of the pale tentacles slung at your side. Once supple and slick, they now sag like withered seaweed. Their surfaces cracked and dull where the wind has touched them. In the still air that follows, you can almost hear the faint rasp of moisture being stolen away. You begin to gather that whatever power this storm has to remove moisture from living creatures in the atmosphere at large, it is even more powerful here, even more potent here. And that bit of information allows you to ascertain the magic that resides within the trident you now possess. As I will add that to your inventory and then read it up for you and let you know what you have on hand. Because you're short rested, you are now attuned to it. This is the Trident of the Thalrasai. Legends claim that this trident once belonged to Einir, the god of storms, and has most recently been possessed by the Thalrasai, the dwindling merfolk tribe sworn to guard the heart of Nerethys. With this weapon, you gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls. You knew that already. But you also gain the ability to somewhat control the wind and siphon the life-giving waters from your foes. It holds 5 charges and regains 1d4 expended charges when you finish a long rest. While attuned to the trident, a creature gains the following benefits. It has a longer than normal thrown range, 30 normal range and 90 at disadvantage, and it always returns to you when thrown, guided by the wind. And then by expending 1 charge when you hit a creature with the weapon, you can force it to make a con save. On a failure, the creature becomes parched for a minute, taking 1d8 cold damage at the start of each of its turns as its body loses moisture to the trident's magic. The creature gets to repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, and being submerged or splashed with at least a gallon of water will immediately end the effect. Finally, perhaps most importantly, because this trident is blessed by the winds of Aenir, you can expend 2 charges when you throw the trident at a creature. You send a slicing line of gale force wind along its path. Large or smaller creatures within 5 feet of that path must succeed on a strength saving throw or be knocked prone and pushed 10 feet in the direction of the throw, while also taking 1d6 bludgeoning damage. Your target also is subject to that effect. So lots of cool things this trident can do, in addition to being a +1 weapon. But most importantly of all, you do notice that the atmosphere is wicking that moisture away. You know that because of the history of this trident, it's likely an effect of the Storm of Aenir, and you wonder how you might be able to use this information to your advantage in your coming travels.
Sick weapon, goddamn.
Yeah, I definitely went a little overboard with this one. It is better than the other weapons and items that you guys found previously because it is so important to the history of this place, because it is so blessed by the winds of Aenir. You begin to understand why perhaps this merfolk was taken hostage and made into a slave rather than just killed outright. Perhaps they held some modicum of importance among the Thalrasi. So, as you continue your travels, is there anything the 3 of you would like to be doing? If not, we can move on ahead. But I just want to make sure that I'm offering every chance for you guys to do what you need to do.
I think I may want to cast Mage Armor on myself. I feel uneasy at best.
It's not a bad idea, Yansfer. As you take a moment, feeling that moisture wicking out of your own body, you cast Mage Armor on yourself as a bit of darkness begins to swirl around. Your skin tone in general just fades into a deep, deep black.
Nargith wants to keep an eye for any ambushes.
Okay. That is, unfortunately, your last level 1 spell slot. And Nargith, as you kind of keep an eye out for any ambushes, I'll have you make a perception check now. So !R perception. Your friend Valen, somewhat distracted by the tentacles
Good
at her
idea.
side.
We should press forward at half pace. Stealth.
Not a bad idea, Saft. If that is what we would like to do, I'll have the entire party roll stealth checks after this perception check. Another nat 20. Nice one, Dark Knight Yen. So 22 perception. You feel confident, especially in this barren landscape, that you'll be able to spot just about anything before it is upon you. You keep your eyes trained towards the horizon and every once in a while kind of glance behind you to make sure that you haven't missed anything. Now, Yansfer, XIVM, we'll start with you. If you would like to roll a stealth check for me, we'll see how silently the 3 of you are moving along. And we'll go down the line. Could a combination of Bane and Bless be used to fight off possession so that we may save our friend? Perhaps. That is something you'll have to try, but that's not a bad idea. Okay, so we have a 12 for Saft, a 16 for Yansfer, and another 12 for Nargith. Thankfully, you are at least wearing the shell armor that does not impose disadvantage on your stealth checks, but unfortunately, moving through the sand. I don't know if you guys have ever tried hiking in the sand. It's very involved. I'll say that much. It's hard to move silently and unnoticed through such a barren landscape, but you do your best. And Nargith, as you take point, you are the first to notice. From the shifting distortion of the shattered expanse, a figure emerges in the distance. Aruvi, or what remains of her. Her face is contorted and stretched as she moves behind warped sea glass, making no effort to hide her presence from you. Rather, she basks in her deformity, knowing that it probably causes you great discomfort. She does not skulk or stalk. She steps brazenly into your path, her bone spear snapping into a battle-ready stance before striking the silt with a sharp, echoing thud. The tendril lifts her into mid-air, her feet dangling as a voice ripples through your mind. This is as far as you go. The ground shudders as the pale ridges crisscrossing the sand begin to writhe and pull apart. The world itself,
here we go again,
shifting into unnatural spiraling patterns. Then, Nargith, you notice this because you rolled a natural 20. From above, a massive red-hued squid falls from the sky, slamming into the silt. You were able to alert your allies just in time as you separate.
This sand is tough, but we got this. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Keep alert, my friends. I feel the presence of wickedness. Upon seeing the wicked witch of the sea, Nerethys prepares.
Oh, Nerethys is ready for anything as the three of you, made aware by Nerethys, dive out of the way as this squid slams into the ground, sending silt and sand up into unnatural patterns. As its eyes begin to bulge, its tentacles begin to writhe. The individual inhabiting Aruvi's body now says, "And you won't be going that way either." You see that the squid has now cut off your escape, and you have a combat ahead of you. I will have each of you roll for initiative, starting with XIVM. And once we have that set, we'll probably go on a quick break. So, !R initiative, XIVM. Sath, you'll be next in line, and then Jason, I'll have you roll as well. And I guess do also keep in mind, guys, that as we go to break, you can type normally in the chat. Should be able to, without using your usages. Ooh, okay. Looks like an 11 for Yancifer and a 4 for Saft as Valen. It's not terrible on the 11, but that 4 could be a problem. All right, and then a 7 for Nargith. You guys are definitely, while you are able to avoid being surprised by this initial assault, you do find yourselves staring at a bit of a disadvantage here as you have driven yourself out of the way and now perhaps even are having to lift yourself up out of the sand before leaping into battle here. So we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. And when we come back, we're going to get things started in earnest. Don't go nowhere. See you in a bit. Bye.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't know anyone would be here while the stream was running. Give me a moment to tidy up. It's much better. Well, while you're here, we might as well take a moment to thank all of our members for supporting the channel and bringing this stream to life. Huge thanks to Tides of Mo, Tabletop Beard, Grim Reaper, Atmos Seeker, Justinian of Darkport, Angel Jobert, Angel of Darkport, Brett Venable, Dutin 103, Zebek Longfang, Lil Tired, Memebot 69,000, XIVM, Jason Miller, Corey of Darkport, Devin Beard, Wilfredo Figueroa, Ruby Rod, Sam Huffpower, Daniel Struve, Agile Monk, Moon Goose McQueen, Jude Eshett, Russell Mooney, Ira Wing, Bacon and Vodka, Jay-Z Gisler, Misfit, Monster's Mother, JDLM, Kathy Evans, Lil Cute Maple, Adam, Mike G, Joshua Hammond, The Azure Sky, Ashicle, Christopher Denault, Jason 96, Joshua Kato, Harry Dong, Camo Camry, Rayan Harith, Triforce Samurai, Alexandre Henriquez, Mr. Nobu, Joe Zielbauer, Storytime with Knuckles, Cabbage Cat, Zeb Winkler, Martin Webb, J.O. Hurd, Ty Truron, Mr. Gieta, Daniel Martin, Darth Goose, Rensler, Licks the Brute, H.D. Siles, Rub My Beard, Ninja King, Fables D20, Ken Robinson, Shibnath Sin, Joseph Agili, KCC, The Rawan Portal, BD, Pluck, Manny S, Rain Black, Golden 21, Storm, Johnny Littlejohn, Derek King, Casey White, Jim Douglas, Vuampi, Rachel, Chris Goodwin, Alicia Harding, Buddha Weatherby, Oro, PA Nightmares, McFry, Mini Warlord, Jason Cash, John H, Biscuits and Gravy, A Chunky Monkey, I'm So Lost, Squiddy, Greg France, Amberg, Ben Posey, Michael Horvath, Toby Rogers, Curtis Ellis, Chris Jones, Jason Rapper, Twin Steel, Jack and Aces, Allhead Said, Zaft 911, Epicos, Eric K, Machinima 5000, Elijah Lloyd, Drazade, T-Dog, Josh Martinez, Dog, Tiago Livas, Charlie Gardner, Brendan Sparrow, Izihius, Hadia, Dom, Defiant Chaos, Mixnaga, Kitchen Knives, Commander Shepard, Labradoodle, Boomstick, Bro, Almighty Zeus, Mark Nygaard, Renarius Ashkevran, Jasco, Kevin Hyatt, Big Dog, Michael Castile, SK, Brett Holt, Lions, Edward Heller, Chuck Havoc, Freyjart, Luke Brown, Yak's Fishing Adventures, Kendra Thomas, Chris Perkins, Chaotic Neutral, Rapnazil, Stump 66, Valbu, Lord Muffin Cake, Big Head Bro, Sweet Zombie Jesus, Mark Kiss, Cameron Conway Johansson, Billy the Brave, Jesse's Brick Galaxy, Alphabet Apostate, Chef O'Death, D.H., Nick Brammer, Caleb A., Fallen Knight, John Washburn, Hot Water Healing, Colt Nomad, Pavel Castillo, Antisocial Young, Krista Enforce, Super Thorco, Tracy Pujol, Logan Keller, Mailman Gaming, and Karen Crawford. You know, members get tons of unique benefits as well, like these weekly shoutouts and emojis that they can use in the stream chat, and a heaping helping of chaos points that can be used to, well, perhaps it's better to show you.
Welcome to Constructed Chaos, a D&D live play channel where you get to control the game. Join us on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time for our in-person live stream that allows you to influence our adventures in major ways. From alternate plot points to rerolls to absolute chaos. And tune in on Mondays at 7 for our brand new Chat Plays D&D format where you get to roll the dice and pilot the characters themselves straight from the live stream chat. And between it all, there's tons of homebrew content and guides that we release every single month. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. And until next time, go out there and make some chaos.
Greetings, viewers. Bramble Backfoot hopping by to let you know about our monthly homebrew packets issued to all those brave enough to join the ranks of our prestigious order. With a plethora of items, monsters, mechanics, and more, it's easier than ever to bring chaos home to your table. So become a member and let's fight the forces of evil together.
Thank you, you're all too kind, and the drinks are on me tonight. Ha ha ha! Oh, you must not have enabled gifted memberships. Let me show you how. Ha ha ha! What you'll want to do is make your way over to our channel page and then add /allow_gifts. From there, you can turn on the toggle for free stuff and join in the chaos. Ha ha ha! Now for my next tune, a little ditty about a dead necromancer named Pinky.
Hello, Trizad here. Oh my god, you have got to come check out all of our wares. We have so many different things. Help support the stream and get yourself some new magic items as well over at the Constructed Chaos store.
Greetings to all my bearded brothers out there. I'm Alex, also known as Constructed Chaos on YouTube, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Tabletop Beard. This family-owned beard oil company is run by three brothers that have combined two great loves of mine: tabletop RPGs and beard care. And it makes a lot of sense because, as I'm sure many of you know, growing and maintaining a healthy beard can be an adventure all its own. I started my quest back before I was even on YouTube, and I guess you could say I was stuck at level 1 for a while, constantly itching my way through life with a wild and unkempt beard and just trusting hairspray and regular shampoo to get the job done. Believe me, I was rolling nat 1s on just about every charisma check I made at that point. But eventually I started trying various beard care products like oils, butters, and balms, and I found some that worked well enough, but none of them really tied into my backstory. Not to mention my wife was constantly complaining about the smell. Then I was put on to the products from Tabletop Beard, and let me tell you, it was a match made in heaven. Or hell, depending on what kind of flavor you prefer. These guys use a premium oil blend of meadow foam seed, rosehip, golden jojoba, argan, avocado, and sunflower oils to create the most high quality product that contains no cheap filler or artificial oils that you typically want to steer clear of. And each scent has been expertly crafted and matched to a familiar TTRPG style, so you know exactly the kinds of vibes you're putting out without the scents being too mundane or too overpowering. To top it off, all their products, oils, butters, and balms are made in small batches, so the quality control is top-notch, and so is the customer service. They're always looking for new ways to meet and exceed customer needs, and I've even heard that they have some new ideas cooking up behind the scenes. So consider this your session 0 and take some time to check out Tabletop Beard today. Truly, they're the only starting equipment that you need for your own successful beard care journey. Bear Dritz here, letting you in on a little-known ranger secret that'll keep you satiated in the wild, even when you have no rations left. Ew, not that. I'm talking about subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell icon. It's easy to miss the signs of a stream going live if you're not prepared. So make sure to do that and... What was that? Hold it right there, adventurer. We're looking for some deviants that refuse to like this video while they're still watching. You wouldn't happen to know anything about this heinous crime, would you? Well then, as you were, but stay out of trouble.
It appeared out of thin air when they found it, as if by the will of the plains themselves. A curious and mysterious bauble that has turned up time and time again throughout the ages. Some have studied it all their lives, hoping to unravel its uniquely fascinating magical properties. Many more have used its power for their own, though all falling victim to fate in the end. Now, it calls to you. By chance, by destiny, by desire, it matters not. It calls to you, and it calls to be cast from your palm, so that it might deliver unto you the unknown wonders held within.
How much longer are they going to... excuse me. Are they still not back? Wait there just a moment. I'll fetch them for you. The little chaos gremlins. You have people waiting, you know!
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a
Dog.
great break. Oh, Sav, sorry, I caught you there as Valen using that little bit of your usage as Valen. But congratulations, Ira! You won the raffle over the break. Enjoy your 1,000 chaos points. Hope that gets you saddled into one of these characters here in a second, as we now roll into our combat. As you all can clearly see, this expanse is a little bit more flat and barren than what you've seen thus far. There are little globules of moisture that are being wicked up from the sandy floor beneath you, and this squid has appeared behind you as you leaped just out of the way as it descended from the sky and slammed into the ground. At the top of the initiative is not Aruvi, is not the squid, is not any of you, but instead is the wind itself. I'm going to roll a d4, and this is going to determine the direction of the wind each round, as it now begins to blow with a hearty gust coming from the west, moving east. So this direction. And there will be different effects depending on the direction of the wind for each round of initiative. That is something you'll have to discover for yourself. But as we move past the top of initiative, it is Aruvi's turn as she moves that same spear back into her left flank. She begins to swing it what appears to be sort of wildly. And Nargith, I'll say because you rolled a natural 20 perception, what you're seeing is as this bone spear that Aruvi has wielded since you met her swings back and forth, the squid behind you is moving in response. And so this squid is first going to make an attack on you, Nargith. As its tentacle lashes out, it rolls, oh my gosh, a 26 to hit you. The tentacle lashes around you, gripping the shell armor as if you are its prey, and reels you in. You are going to take 19 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are now grappled. All that healing, thank goodness you did it, but all that healing is already...
I'll take whatever you got to dish out, you vile beast.
Yeah. Well, it's got quite a lot, as those 19 points of damage bring you down to just 11. It brings you in close to its mouth, and its little beak underneath begins to try and chomp down on you. So that's going to roll to hit now, as it has you grappled within 5 feet of it. That is a natural 1, and so the beak is unable to find purchase, as I'm going to have you, Nargith, make an insight check for me. So exclamation point R, insight. I want to see what you can glean from this interaction right off the jump here. Okay, with a 17, Nargith, you determine almost instantly as this squid reels you in, probably an attack it's done numerous times before, and gets you close to its beak. Its own tentacle sort of moves you out of the way as it clamps down. It appears that this squid is fighting against some other will that is controlling it, and you're seeing the inhabitor of Aruvi's body sort of shifting this bone spear around, trying to puppet this squid like a marionette. That is what you are able to glean from this as we now move to Yancifer's turn. Yancifer, what would you like to do? And Nargith and Valen, be thinking about what you would like to do. Nargith, I'll move you back just a little bit to be within 5 feet of the squid, as you are still grappled by it, but you may be able to do something with the information that you have. Well, want to try a Bane and Bless combo? That's not a bad idea. There are lots of, I'll spoil a little bit for you guys. There's lots of solutions to this combat. It's not just winning the day in a fight to the death. There are ways to solve these problems outside of that. Ira with the skull and crossbones, yeah. I'll take whatever you can dish out, and then got almost everything they could dish out. What are you thinking, XIVM?
Cast a darkness centered on Aravi.
Okay. As you cast your darkness spell... Sorry, I've only got green, but I feel like this is the appropriate size. It's a 20-foot radius? Oh, yeah. I don't have one big enough for that. We'll just have to know. As you cast your darkness spell on Aruvi, you see the sort of twisting motion that she's using with that bone spear descend into eerie blackness. Still, the squid sort of writhes and acts on its own as if Aruvi is still piloting it, although you do notice its movements become a little bit more erratic and not quite as precise as they were before. Your blinding of Aruvi may actually be the best inhibitor for this squid that has appeared behind you, ironically enough. So I'll mark off your spell slot as you cast darkness. You have 1 second level spell slot remaining. Are you doing anything else with your bonus action or movement at this stage? Yeah, just 1 second level spell slot after that cast of darkness. Oh, and Yancifer, there you are. You're now Ira. I see. I didn't see the swap. And it is worth noting that Yancifer does have mage armor up because they had that precognition.
As the beast speak. He sees how Valen's movement of her enchanted trident somehow controls or manipulates the beast's movement. Nargith yells out to Valen.
Nice, yeah. Jason, I would imagine your conveyance...
It is responding to you and your trident. The trident has a controlling affect on it.
As you convey this information that you've gleaned yourself to your friend, that's whenever Yancifer spawns that darkness. And sets the beast at bay. It now snaps wildly past your limbs and head, just trying not to succumb to whatever ill fate this force has planned for it, and has planned for you by extension. Justin, feel free to hop into the roleplay pool there, my friend. I didn't get to hang out with you at Gen Con, so I got to hang out with you at Constructed Chaos Con. What do you think, Ira? Any bonus action or movement that you have planned?
Yancifer will try to stealth after casting that darkness.
Okay.
Everyone goes before me because I rolled a natural 1. I'm a fucking rage and expend 2 charges to control the squid away from the witch.
Good to know. I will try to keep that in mind. You may have to remind me when we shuffle back around. But Russell, you are now piloting Valen. As Yancifer, you're gonna try and make a stealth check. I'm gonna say, because of the unique situation you find yourself in, even though the squid can see you and Aruvi can't, you're still going to do advantage on your stealth check. So exclamation point R, stealth ADV. And I guess technically that is the hide action, but I'm going to let it slide because you did some cool stuff with that darkness. Okay, with a 12 on your stealth, once again, you find this landscape barren and not littered with too many good hiding spots. But I imagine you are able to at least maneuver away from this squid a little bit. So we're going to move you over towards this shell on the far side. And because you're moving while the squid is not technically blinded, but not able to take a reaction because it's being puppeted by another creature that is blinded, they're not going to take an attack of opportunity on you. And yes, Yancifer, you can see in your own darkness. So if you would like to charge forward, let me know. Where you go is going to be very important for me. So I need you to tell me exactly where you're trying to head. Or if you're trying to stay put. Yeah, Ira, she can see in her own darkness, so that's good to know, right? I think you're concentrating on that too, so I'll drop a ring on you.
I want to be 10 from the baddie.
10 from the baddie. Okay, so Yancifer, as you begin to charge forward with your 30 feet of movement, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can't quite get within 10 of them. You can get within 15. But as you begin to move with this sudden gust of wind coming from the east, I'm going to have you make a strength saving throw. So exclamation point R, strength save, or STR save. Either one will work. It's hard to maintain your balance as you charge forward through a crosswind. Oh no. That is not a glitch, everyone. That is actually a natural 1 minus 1. So that is a 0 for Yancifer.
Oh, gods.
I'm going to say you get about 10 feet ahead and you're going to be knocked prone by these strong winds. Unable to move any further from that point. As we now move to what would be the squid's turn, but instead, at the end of your turn, Yancifer, Aruvi is going to take a legendary action. As you recall, Kytheron had this as well, where the tendril sort of moves them on their own independently. And so it's going to move 30 feet with the direction of the wind. So technically it can dash and get quite far. I'm going to move them here to the shard of glass as they are able to maneuver out of your darkness and can now see quite clearly you and the rest of your allies as you have fallen prone on the ground. I will say at the distance you are, you're probably just inside of the darkness. I'll put you here instead. So she won't be able to see you, but she can see your allies. As we now move to Nargith's turn. Nargith, what would you like to do? Valen, you're on deck, so be thinking about it. I know we got some information from Saft earlier, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And Nargith, you are grappled by this squid as it's attempting to avoid biting down on you. You ascertain that it is not moving under its own power. You see your friend charge nobly into the gale force winds. You're not sure what happens to them afterwards, but you do see Aruvi move out of the darkness, guided by the tendril wrapped around their waist.
Nargith vows enmity on the evil squid as he attacks the beast with his longsword. If the attack hits, the paladin uses Thunderous Smite.
Okay, nice. In that case, Jason, you're going to do exclamation point R attack ADV. And that should use your highest modifier, which I believe is your strength. I believe. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's your charisma. Oh, well. I'll give it to you either way. Oh, no. Did this still not work? Dang it. Okay. Just do exclamation point R STR attack ADV. I know it's a lot to type. I tried to make it easier. There we go. Nice, Jason. Good recovery there. Okay, with an 18 on the die, you do indeed hit, and it sounds like you're going to Thunderous Smite them. Let me have a look at your spells here. This is your last smite. So just be aware of that. As you Thunderous Smite them, you're going to roll 1d8 plus 2d6 plus 5, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, 1d8 plus 2d6 plus 5 should be the damage that you're dealing to this squid. "13 points of damage against the squid as you bring your sword to bear, trying to break yourself free. Thunder booms out across the expanse as you bring them down by 13 points of damage, and you hear some dogs in the background going absolutely nuts over probably nothing. Now, Thunderous Smite as well. I know, I think imposes possible prone condition. Strength saving throw or be pushed 10 feet away. And I'll say if they fail this, they will release you. They are going to make that saving throw with a total of 25. Even as the boom ripples out across the expanse, stirring the silt across this wasteland, the creature is steadfast.
Nerethys yells out, "Let the thunder of the gods smite you, you vile beast!"
You attempt to drive them back, but now seeing its oppressor in clear line of sight, it does not shy away from the attack that you've levied against it. Instead, it takes it on the chin, and we now move to Valen's turn. Valen, I believe, had planned to rage. We know that much. And there was something else they wanted to do. Spend 2 charges to control the squid away from the witch. Okay. So I'm imagining you're trying to throw the trident in a way that it'll hit both the squid and Aruv using those 2 charges, correct? Now I know it's Russell piloting Valen now, so I just want confirmation. I got Saft's intent earlier. I don't want to see if that's what I guess if it's within 5 feet of the line, technically that starts on you, so you wouldn't even have to move if you don't want to. But you let me know, Russell. You're in the saddle now. Oh yeah, thank you for the 1d8. I always forget. You guys are always covering for me. Thank you. Let's see what that equals out to be. A 2 on the 1d8. Oh my gosh, you got the teleport again? So you teleport up to
Skip
30
the squid.
feet.
Hit the bad guy.
Teleport.
Skip the squid, hit the bad guy is the advice that we're getting in chat. Yeah, so Russell, you get the 30-foot teleport that can activate this turn and as a bonus action on subsequent turns. So let me know what you'd like to do with that and where the attack is going. If you're expending 2 charges as well. If you want to pivot and do something else, I won't stop you either. But that was Saft's last wishes. Yeah, that teleport has been clutch in every single combat that you guys have run so far. Sorry, XIVM. It's not a perfect system yet. I still need to work on that autocorrect. I thought I had most of the issues resolved, but it seems like it's still doing some wonky things. Even though it's not keeping us from playing the game and having fun. Russell Saft has given you his blessing to do as you please. Andre says we need to prioritize getting rid of that bone spear and the tendril. The trident can remove the moisture from the tendril. I like where your head's at, Andres. Ever the Lord of Lore here. That's a very good observation. Perhaps you were given the tool you needed all along. I'm imagining Russell is typing up quite the move here. I know a lot of you guys have been really invested in this campaign and these characters, and I can't thank you enough for coming along for this ride. I can't wait to see where it ends up and where we end up next. I do have some ideas already plotting behind the scenes.
I throw the trident at the tendril and use Storm's Thirst. Does topple work while the weapon is thrown?
Yes, topple will still work as the weapon is thrown, as long as you're dealing the damage with it. If I'm wrong on that, we can figure it out later, but as of right now, I think it's cool as shit, so that's what we're going to do. Valen, as it stands, your trident has a range of 30 feet, and you are exactly 30 away from Aruvi as you rear back with the trident and launch it, trusting that it'll find its way back to you. You're going to make an attack roll with your strength. So exclamation point R, STR, attack. And I don't know if you guys have noticed my sneakiness already, but Aruvi is wearing a concentration ring. What could that mean, I wonder? Ooh, okay. With a 6 total, as you launch this trident, Aruvi moves nimbly out of the way on her own power, and you come to understand that in these gale force
Heroic
winds...
inspiration.
Oh, yes! There it is, the heroic inspiration. Awesome. So you're going to use your heroic inspiration, Valen, to re-roll that. Exact same command. Just do it one more time for me. I'd almost forgotten that you guys got that earlier. And you wouldn't have gotten it if you hadn't buried your other merfolk friend. Okay, so with a 12 on the die...
Heck yeah.
As you re-roll silvery barbs as well, Andres asks, you launch the trident, and as it moves through the air, it just barely misses Aruvi as she is able to move away at her on her own power. You come to understand that throwing weapons in these gale force winds is pretty difficult unless you're throwing either with the wind or directly into it. It can be hard to...
Would the +1 make it a 13?
The +1. Oh, you're right. It would make it a 13. Oh, man. I got to be honest. I really want to give this to you guys. I really, really do. But her AC is 14. I'm staring it down. Her AC's... I'll come clean about it. It's 14. So, unfortunately, even with the +1 that you get off of this weapon, it is not quite going to get you there. And so as the trident arcs through the wind, that wind sort of catches it and carries it around her. bringing it back to your grasp as you snare it in midair. Aruvi's eyes go a bit wide.
Silvery barbs.
Silvery barbs. Okay. Now, the way silvery barbs works normally is that you target someone who's making an attack roll or saving throw, they re-roll and they take the lower of the two. But in this situation, because you guys are pulling out all the stops and you've come so close, I'm going to allow Valen to roll
heroic
this.
Inspiration.
I'm going to allow Valen. Oh! You're re-rolling the heroic inspiration? How does that work? I mean, I guess it's really the same thing. You're still taking the lower of the two. But again, regardless of how it normally works, Valen, I'm going to allow you to make that roll one more time. Thanks to the silvery barbs from your friend. They're using a second level spell slot to do it. That is their last spell slot. So Valen, one more time. Exclamation point R, STR. And we're going to see if you can land it. STR attack, sorry. One more roll. One more roll. Come on, baby. No! No! Oh my gosh. That's painful. I'm so sorry, guys. But a 12, unfortunately, even with the +1, a 12 is not going to connect. At least we're getting all these rolls out of the way. As you do snare that trident from mid-air, it's still humming with energy, and you feel as though you know now the direction of the wind, the force that it carries, and your next strike will be true. Oh my gosh. Chat is in an uproar. Ira's screaming for advantage. Andres, I agree. We need to get that tendril. I would like my reaction to use a chaos roll. Unfortunately, not part of Chat Plays D&D yet, but perhaps in the future. For right now, that is going to be the action that Valen is stuck with. Valen, you don't expend a charge because you didn't hit, but you do have your bonus action teleport if you would like to use it, and your movement. Let me know what you would like to do as we now move on to whose turn is it? Jeez, I completely lost track with how many attacks we had. We're moving back to the top of initiative to determine the wind. Okay, that is a 2 on the D4, which means the wind is now blowing from the opposite direction. It shifts, and perhaps this is what sends your trident off course. Yeah, Valen, let me know what you'd like to do, but now the wind is blowing this direction. As we move from the top of initiative to Aruvi, or whoever is inhabiting their body, they continue to twist the bone spear in midair, controlling the squid like a puppet. That's going to be an attack on... Well, I'll wait, Valen. Let me know if you're moving, because if you're not, I think it's going to try and grapple you next. We know that you can teleport out of it, but it doesn't know that. Now, what do you think, Russell? Are you teleporting? Are you staying put? Where are we going? Jason, I like the idea, but I'm not sure that would work.
Between the squid and my allies.
Okay. As it is right now, Nargith is grappled within 5 feet. You can use your teleport to get sort of in a line here. And as you get there, I'm going to say that you have half cover from Nerethys as the squid does make an attack with 15 feet of reach to try and grab you. So you can add +2 to your AC for this attack. That is a 14, which is going to miss you thanks to that half cover. Nargith is sort of bashing the tentacle as it goes to grip you. Nargith, you come to understand that this creature's not attacking because it wants to, and you try to help it out, try to guide its tendril away from your allies, and indeed you are successful. However, the creature now has a bite attack, and it has someone within 5 feet of it as it attempts to gnash you again, Nargith. That is a 2 on the die for a total of 11 as the beak crushes right next to you, latching against your shield. You're able to wrench it away as the metal of it is a bit twisted. But you are able to escape unscathed. You are still grappled, but you are still up, and that is the important thing here. You hear sort of a bit of a grunt from across the battlefield as whoever is inhabiting Aruvi calls out, "Squirm all you like. I pull the strings. Your bones will feed my pet." As we now move to Yancifer's turn. So Yancifer, what would you like to do? You are prone in your own darkness here. You are technically hidden, and the wind is blowing from the opposite direction. You can see Aruvi from out within your cloud, but she cannot see you. And that, my friend, may work to your advantage. You do have a pet too, Jason. I don't know if it'd come in handy here, but it could. Release the eel, he says. Not a bad idea. It doesn't have a lot of movement, especially not in these gale force winds, but any little bit of help could be something that saves you here. Lots of suggestions coming in from chat, but it is Ira's call. Unfortunately, Ira, you do not have a spell slot left because you cast Silvery Barbs. And I don't think you have a free casting of that. I'm going to double check. You do have a free casting of Misty Step once per long rest, and a free casting of Shield once per long rest. But you do not have a free casting of Silvery Barbs, and so unfortunately, you are completely out of spell slots. However, we know firsthand that your cantrips can do quite a bit of damage, especially when you have advantage on attack rolls because you're unseen. It is first level, but you were out of first level spell slots. You should, I think, have most of your sorcery points if you want to use that to replenish. You have 3 of your 4 sorcery points remaining, so you could burn 3 of them to get a second level spell slot back and then use that spell slot. Bless is normally a free cast, but you cast it last combat and it's once per long rest. You have not taken a long rest yet. Who needs spell slots when there's Chat Plays D&D? I agree. It is an unfortunate reality that we live in, that the characters do have to abide by these rules. But the bless has been used in the last combat, and you can't use it again until you long rest, and you haven't done so just yet. You can use all those sorcery points to get a second level spell slot back and use it for chromatic orb.
I reach within me and draw upon my Shadow Flame fish scale powers to throw a second level chromatic orb. Stand first.
Got it. Okay. In that case, you burn the last of your sorcery points to get your chromatic orb online. So, Yancifer, I am seeing... Do you have chromatic orb? Where is that? I don't see chromatic orb on your spell list. I don't know that you have chromatic orb on here. No Chaos Bolt either. The only second level attacking spell that I am seeing is Magic Missile, which could be pretty useful. You could also maybe try and upcast something. Yeah, you're already upcasting Magic Missile. You don't have a whole lot of attacking spells. You're very much a support build here, aside from your cantrips. Magic Missile, pew pew. Very nice. Jason, you are now piloting Yancifer, but I'm gonna let Ira take the lead there. As you cast Magic Missile, it's gonna be 4d4 plus 4, and it's gonna auto hit. I'm assuming aiming at Aruvi and more specifically the tentacle grasping them. So go ahead and roll that damage for me. Be exclamation point R, 4d4 plus 4, Jason. And you know it's going to auto hit because Magic Missile does what it does. Did it roll? Uh-oh. What's happening? What's going on there? Chaos Bot, you awake? Uh-oh. We might have broken something. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna try and restart our bot here. Something might have gotten a little wonky. Because I noticed Chaos Bot isn't even responding anymore. He's gone dead quiet. Okay, try that one more time for me, Jason. We're going to see if that works now that I've restarted it. Might have just been... yeah, there you go. Might have just been too much going on all at once. Oh, we came back with a good roll. 16 points of damage as from the darkness, your two allies see these searing black bolts pierce through the veil and strike almost instantly into the tendril clutching Aruvi, dealing 16 points of damage. That's quick math. Okay. You notice that the tentacle is in a bit of a fragile state due to the atmosphere around, but every so often it sort of thrums with that same cold pulse that you've been seeing, almost like water is being supplied to it from elsewhere. And as the magic missiles strike, it severs some of that supply line and causes it to writhe away just a bit more. It is still there, but not quite as strong as it was before. So, as we move on from Yancifer's turn, it is now Aruvi's turn, and they're going to take that legendary action again to move a little bit further. The wind is coming from this direction, so they're moving here, 30 feet. Kind of getting around you guys, and they are going to have to make a strength save, just like the rest of you. They do make that save with a 16. As we now move from their turn to Naragith. Naragith, it is your go. You're still grappled by the squid, trying to keep it from doing too much damage to you and the rest of your allies. Valen, you're on deck with that teleport. Naragith was able to shield you last turn, but it may not work next time. So be thinking about what you want to do. XIVM, let me know. Now that Chaos Bot is back up and running. We had to fix him up a little bit. I imagine like he fell over and we just like leaned him back up and deployed a kickstand.
The Shadow Sorcerer's magic pierces the beasts the same as Yancifer pierces the shadows of the depths of Nerethys.
And there's the title. Title plug. Hell yeah. I love it, Jason. Good flavor. You know, I like to give my campaign sort of poetic titles, and I'm sure none of the hints and gleanings have been lost on any of you. Dre says, cast Bane onto the tendril and disrupt its control. Pee-wee's Playhouse secret word is chaos. Always. It's always chaos. And Nargith, you did Thunderous Smite last turn, so you technically are out of spell slots. I just forgot to mark it. That's my fault.
I guess I have no option but to attack this hapless squid, as it won't let me go.
You can also try to escape. There is an escape DC on the tentacle that's grasping you. So that is up to you. If you would like to use an action to try and escape, you can do that. And I believe you have an advantage on escaping grapples because you're a Goliath. So that could prove a pretty good use of your turn. Just keep in mind that the squid does still have a reaction remaining. So they could try and lash out and ensnare you again if you try to escape. So it's a tough call. Really is a tough call. Trying to think of what other options you may have there. In your inventory, you do have your lance, but can't really throw anything. Not much in the way of ranged options there, unfortunately. So, XIVM, if it is your intent to attack the squid once again, go ahead and !R STR attack. Yeah, we are out of spell slots here. It is rough going. Oh, and even rougher still are the rolls that we're getting. As Nargith, you try to bring your sword to bear against this creature, but understand that it doesn't want to attack you. It softens your blow just a little bit, and as that tentacle throws you to the side, you are unable to find purchase, swinging wildly with that longsword of yours. You are unable to strike out against them. As we now move from your turn to Valen's turn. Now, Valen, remember, you do have that 30-foot teleport if you want to use it. And of
teleport
course,
behind Aruve, stabbing my trident into the tendril, and expend a charge for Storm's Thirst.
Hell yeah. And you know what? Because last time, your friend did silvery barbs and didn't give advantage to anyone. We didn't specify that. I'm going to give you advantage on this attack. You teleport behind in a burst of wild energy, appearing behind Aruv with the trident already in hand, thrusting down towards the tendril. Go ahead and !R STR attack ADV. I want you guys to succeed every bit as much as everyone else. I want you guys to win the day here. That is going to hit. Okay, so that is going to be a 23 to hit, and you're wielding this trident. So, Valen, the amount of damage that you're going to do, because you're wielding it with both hands.
If it's FKN4, I am out of here.
Let me reread that. I didn't quite understand what... It wasn't. We're good. Valen, you're wielding that trident in both hands, so you are able to make use of its versatile property. You're going to roll 1d10 plus 6 because you're raging. You get that bonus rage damage too. So 1d10 plus 6 is the amount of damage that you're dealing. And you are expending that charge, so I'm going to mark that off. As you find purchase within the tendril, you see some of the liquid from within it beginning to leach up the staff up the trident towards where your hands rest, moisturizing some of the kelp leather around the pole of it. You deal 13 points of damage on this initial strike against the tendril. And the tentacle, certainly, if it had blood remaining, would be bloodied at this point. Aruvi eyes you, seeing that you're doing damage to what keeps them under the control of this foul monstrosity you've been fighting thus far. And as you pull that trident out, every strike you land, I'll make sure to repay in your blood. The ever soft, ever nurturing spirit of Aruvi seems to be twisted by this tendril still, but you know that it's going to take some damage later, and that is important to remember. So I'm gonna drop a magical effect ring on Aruvi. I love this item. I want to make sure we're using it to the fullest extent. Are you doing anything else after your teleport? If not, we are going to re-roll for the wind and see how it changes the course of this battle. Oh, Topple! Thank you.
I am dry. I will never stop until all are free of your control.
Let's see how Topple pans out with a strength save. That's an 18 on the die, so they're definitely going to make that strength save. They are not felled. We're going to check for the wind direction now. It's a 4 again, so the wind just shifts back the other direction, now blowing essentially into your face, Valen, pushing Aruvi closer towards you, making it harder for them to escape. This actually could be the most advantageous shift that you could have asked for. However, it is now Aruvi's turn, and understanding that you hold the key to their demise, they are going to try to get away from you. With their 30 feet of movement now reduced to just 15 feet, moving directly into the wind, I don't know if they close. They're going to move back up this way. Right about here. And they'll have to make a strength save to see if they're knocked prone from the wind now. And you will be able to make an opportunity attack if you so choose, Valen. Let me know, Ira. That is... It could fail. That's a 10 on the die. Aruvi trips, is pushed over by the wind. The gust of Einir himself blow her over, seeing that you are attempting to free one of his people from captivity. They are prone, so you get to make that at advantage again. Roll !R STR attack ADV. You forgot attack. You have to add attack in there. It's gonna freak out. Sorry, I've been trying to make that system easier, but it's so tricky to tell.
I did.
Tell it what you want. Yeah. Oh, it's got to be full. It's got to be fully attack. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm seeing all these things that I can tweak with it and like shorten things up. It's got to be the full word attack. I gave shortened versions of everything else. We'll get it, Ira. We'll get it. We're just building suspense. Oh my god. That's a natural 1 and a natural 20 on the other die. The suspense was worth it, Ira. Okay, so you score a critical hit on this tendril as Aruvi falls prone. You loom above, remembering the words this enemy said to you and remembering the kindness that Aruvi paid to you. You raise the trident lofty overhead and drive it down into the tendril. You are going to do 2d10 plus 6 damage, if you want to roll that for me. Jason now... Oh, sorry. No, still Ira. It's going to be 2d10 plus 6 damage. I'm going to go ahead and roll the cold damage that this person should be taking as well. Okay. 16 points of extra damage plus an extra 2 on the d8 of cold. They are resistant to cold, but that is still some damage stacking up here. You sever that tendril to nearly a thread at this point. It is barely hanging on, but Aruvi still is under their control, using the bone spear to sort of prop themselves up. They're going to try and remake the save for Constitution. That's a natural 1. They do not make the Constitution save. They are still under the effects of your cold, sapping energy from this trident. And they do need to make concentration. I keep forgetting. Oh my god, there's so many rolls I have to make. So many rolls. Let's see. With 17 points total, their roll to beat is still a 10. That's an 8 on the die. Their modifier is a +1 as the concentration is broken. They are prone. The concentration is broken, and now the squid is no longer under her control. Now, this may be good. It may be bad. We're going to see how this pans out. As she comes to the end of her turn, Yancifer, it is now your go. What would you like to do? Run, squid!
Seeing that the real enemy is the sea witch, the hag, and not the poor squid, Yancifer targets the sea witch with her sorceress burst, Thunder, hoping for many 8s.
Okay. Using your sorceress burst, and you are still hidden within your own darkness, so that will be an advantage. You're going to roll !R CHA attack ADV. Sorry, I know it's a mouthful, but you guys got this. You guys got this. And I'm assuming you're targeting the tendril and not Aruvi, but I'll let you tell me. Double 14s. That's got to be lucky for something. Jason, just let me know if that's going at Aruvi proper or at the tendril. That's the remaining question here. I want to make sure that you know what you're targeting.
The proper.
Okay, at Aruvi. As you throw the sorry, what spell did you cast? I already Sorceress Burst. As you ripple sorceress energy throughout your body.
The main BBEG is what Yancifer targets.
Okay. There's Aruvi being controlled by a tendril that's around her waist. Everyone else has been targeting the tentacle, so I'm assuming you're doing the same. Because Aruvi is the person that helped you out sessions past. She's being controlled by this.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Got it. Sorry, Jason. Sorry to make you burn so much to clarify. But as you ripple out sorceress energy from your body, it cascades across the battlefield, piercing through the darkness and striking this tendril with a buffet of thunderous energy. I'm going to have you roll 1d8 to see if you can do this tendril in and bring this combat to a close, hopefully. Let's see. 2 points of damage. Low roll, unfortunately. However, it is damage that's adding up. As you connect with the tentacle, you see it thrash about in the sand, being very careful not to move too quickly or it risks severing itself. You see as it writhes and the tendril's control lessens on Aruvi, every once in a while, her eyes, her expression goes vacant as she begins to wake up and is ensnared again. She looks to you into the darkness and says, "The storm doesn't decide her fate. I do!" As we now move from Yancifer's turn to the squid's turn. And on the end of Yancifer's turn, Aruv is going to use that legendary action to move 30 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. She's going to move all the way over there now. She does need to still make that strength save. That is a 17 on the die, so she does make the save. She is just barely away, carried by this tendril, hanging on for dear life. However, the squid at least is of its own mind. I am going to roll a d20. On above a 10, the squid will rule in your favor. Below, it's going to continue to attack.
Yancifer yells out from the darkness. You will return to the darkness in which you came from.
We hope. That is another 17 on the die. The squid is going to release you, Nargith, and begin scrambling across the sand as quickly as it can, trying to make its way back to the water. You understand now that when it fell from above, it fell from the ocean itself, piercing through the storm, dealing quite a bit of damage to itself. It is weak, it is writhing, it is hoping to get away from you all as it releases you and gets out of your range. Nargith, you do have the option to make an attack of opportunity, but you do not have to. I'll let you decide that, XIVM.
The depths of Nerethys is with us.
Absolutely they are. The winds of Anir are at your back as we move to...
Go home, my tentacled friend.
As we move to your turn, Nargith, you allow the squid to leave. Now released from the grapple, the wind is blowing at your back, roughly. If you would like to close on Aruv, you should be able to get there. What would you like to do? Valen, you're on deck, so be thinking about what you want to do.
Close.
Okay. Nargith, you begin to rush across the battlefield, feeling the wind kind of blowing at your side. You are going to need to make a strength saving throw to see if you can remain upright. So, !R, STR, save. Now that just leaves the tendril. Amen, brother. Oh, Nargith, no! I'm so sorry. As you begin to run, you get about 10 feet into your sprint and you collapse as the wind does blow you over. Big tree fall hard, unfortunately. You are prone and out of movement at this point. You can potentially still try and do something. Perhaps, yeah, I don't know that there's much that you can do there. You could maybe move your vow of enmity. You have one left if you'd like to. You might be able to, you're out of spell slots, so you wouldn't be able to do much there. While you think on what you're going to do at this stage, we're going to move on to Valen.
V on saves?
No, unfortunately, you do not have advantage on strength saves made to remain upright. You have advantage on them to break free of grapples. Hang on. You also have a ridiculous amount of movement speed. I forgot about that. So I'm going to say that you are able to get within range. You're like propelling yourself forward on the coral skates that you're wearing, and you slide down. You are prone when you get there, so you're attacking from the ground, but that does not oppose any disadvantage, I don't think. So make an attack roll. Trying to connect with this tendril, lashing out with every bit of might that you have. !R, STR, attack. Yeah, you got 45 feet of movement. I forgot about that. Okay. as is fitting, just trying to, with a last-ditch effort, get your long sword around to strike at this tendril. Unfortunately, a 6 is not going to do it. Your sword gets caught in the sand as you fall. You are prone just before Aruvi, but we now move to Valen's turn, and we know what Valen has. Valen, what would you like to do? Let's bring it home, Ira. Perhaps this foul priestess inhabiting Aruvi was too confident for their own good. Ira says, teleport my ass over there and Hulk smash! Okay, Ira. You teleport next to Aruvi, and as you appear, once again, wielding that trident, I'm going to have you make a strength attack. Exclamation point R, STR, attack. No advantage, just a straight roll, and we're going to see if we can bring this thing to a close. Yeah, the small eel coils around the trident and doubles your grip upon it to make sure that it is a sure strike.
I roar and teleport behind her, so we are flanking. Not flanking, but I want behind.
Got it. Yeah, I don't do flanking here, but I like the flavor. I like the idea of getting behind them so they have no escape. You can do reckless. If you would like to get advantage, you can reckless attack here. That's your call. This is going a lot better than the fight against Kytheron. You guys got all the information you needed early on, and you've been using it to very, very startlingly good effect. Okay. An 18, as you know, is
reckless.
Going to hit. Roll 1d10 plus 6. Andres, you are now in the pilot seat. Roll 1d10 plus 6 to see how much damage we're doing. See if you can sever this tentacle for good. An 8 total. Now that might seem like a low roll, but as it so happens, Andres, it is enough as you drive this trident into the tendril, stealing the last bit of moisture, holding it together. You hear a, not a snap, but a tear sound come from the tendril as it lashes back and retreats into the soil. You see Aruvi go limp as she collapses onto the ground, and all of you are now out of initiative. With that being the case, what is everyone doing as Aruvi falls from the grasp of this creature, this fallen god that has been causing all the trouble here in Nerethys?
I drop darkness and run over to Aruvi to see if she is all right.
Okay. Yancifer, as you reach Aruvi, the wind around you begins to subside. Not to the point of non-existence, but it isn't keeping you from her anymore. And as you reach her side, she kind of blinks her eyes open. What happened? Where am I? Where is Warwick? What happened? As soft-spoken as Aruvi is, you can tell that she is frantic in this moment. And I imagine a weight settles on each of you as you try to navigate how to deliver the news of Warwick's demise. You gather, at least, that was the name of the other merfolk that you met. What happened? Where are they? And point of note, she is technically speaking in Aquan, but I'll say Yancey, you're able to get comprehend languages up, so you understand what she's saying. I imagine you're conveying that to the rest of the
Velen
group.
quickly stores the severed, withered tentacle and teleports to our Murphic friend. The eel gives her affectionate nuzzles. You were possessed. Our friend did not make it.
What has become of the rest of them? If Warwick is not there to protect them, I fear the worst. You see a sullen expression wrinkle across Aruvi's face that was once full of hope despite the circumstances. She looks upon those blessed by an ear and comes to understand that even with the storm god's blessing, it was not enough to save her friend, Warwick, and possibly the rest of her people. What is it that the three of you are doing in this moment as Aruvi falls into despair? It is a sullen moment, and you certainly come to understand that she has probably lost people before. But the impact is no less intense. The second, third, 10th, 20th time. What is everyone doing here? There's some small consolation, I imagine, that builds up inside of your heart, knowing that you were able to spare at least one of their tribesmen.
So is this the end of this dark thing? Do we know how to end it, if not?
While tending to her wounds, treatments more advanced than they seem, she asks Yancifer to translate. We gave him a burial as much as we can. We cannot stop. We must finish this before more are lost.
Make a persuasion check for me, Valen.
Do you remember how you came to be possessed? Anything you can tell us might help find a way to prevent it from happening again.
As she begins to work up the courage to regale what happened to her, Yancifer, Valen, I'm going to have you make it persuasion check at advantage. Sorry, I didn't get it out fast enough. An 18 is pretty high, but I'll let you, if you would like to, you can roll again and see if you get a higher result. She turns to you, Yancifer. I had just made it back to my people. They were besieged by those same tentacles. They'd found them, tracked them to another location. Warwick was fighting admirably. I wanted to join them, but my periphery began to fade. I lost consciousness. I don't know what happened next. Sounds like they may have gotten to him too. And with your 17, Valen, she turns to you. Your words ring true. There's nothing more that we can do for him. But we can stop this. Stop it from happening to others. And if There is enough strength left in me that I will fight alongside you. Thank you for saving me, at least. Thank you for giving me the chance to avenge my brother. You come to understand the emotional response that Aruvi is having for the loss of Warwick, her brother. She lifts herself up on her bone spear, gives it a twirl, grasps it tightly in her hand, and as a single tear begins to roll down her face, before she can even wipe it away, it evaporates into dust, carried on by the wind. And she begins to move forwards towards the ever-present light at the center of this ever-present storm, leaving you to decide. Will you follow? Or will you do something else? What is everyone doing in this moment? What are we thinking? Russell, Andres, XIVM.
Valen urges the eel to comfort her with more nuzzles. The eel was of a similar mind. Valen holds out the trident. Don't you wish to have this? We won't leave you.
You rush up alongside of Aruvi as she turns to face you. The eel swims from your arm onto hers, grasping it tightly as she then clutches it. You've managed to nurture one of these creatures as well. Your feats are impressive, and as such, knowing what I know of Warwick, he would have wanted you to carry that. I have my own weapon. I think that trident would do more good in your hands. Blessed by Aenea's winds, it seems like you were made for each other. If you would continue to assist me, I would be forever grateful. But know that without the backing of the Thal Rasai, the way ahead is surely more dangerous than the way behind. I cannot promise that we will survive. How do you respond to that, Valen? The rest of you are certainly within earshot.
Avenge him we will. By my fiery beard, I vow this will be ended in our favor, barring any more bad rolls on my part.
You were at least able to free me. The victory over Zealous is rare, and yet it seems you have had many in these short spans of days and hours. Come. I believe it best for us to get as close as we can to the eye of the storm. We'll be safest there. And there, perhaps we can rest before assessing the damage within.
The storm god has already saved our lives. If we abandon this task now, then we never deserved his mercy.
Yancifer, make a persuasion check for me. I want to see how well you can inspire this sullen morale.
I shall do so with respect and pride. This time I venture with full knowledge. With a smile she adds, perhaps we can turn these tentacles of love against him.
She turns to face the tendrils that you now carry, Valen, as they have now withered almost into nothing. They are but slender, pale reminders of what they once were. Something of a string of teeth, I take it. Good. I want them to know how much damage we've caused them in recompense for what they've done to us. As she turns back to you, Yancifer, I can hear your voice shaken, but your words still ring true, and they mean more to me than you can know. We will see this through. We will emerge victorious. Victories are not measured in battles won, but trials faced. I believe that. And we will be victorious. She sort of reassures herself as the four of you continue across this barren expanse. The wind howls after several hours of travel when you reach the eye wall at the edge of the sandy wastes, shattered shells and sea glass. The gale slings a mixture of salt and grit, whipping past so violently the world beyond blurs into a churning haze. Yet through the chaos...
I plan to forge them into an anti-sword and stab him in the face with it. Valen admits in an attempt to lift her spirits.
She does actually let out a bit of a chuckle at that. And you see the hope stolen from her moments ago beginning to return to her features. Knowing that although she has lost so much, there are still those that
We
would
have
fight
followed many
for
in
her
our
cause.
travels to you here now. This seems to be our true course. We have arrived here in folly, but not, it seems, unintended.
And here we are. You look through the gale, through the chaos, and you see a brilliant glow continuing to pulse. It beckons as though the screaming wind warns you that what waits beyond is not meant for mortal eyes to behold, and yet somehow you know that it is meant for you. And in this moment, Aruvi finds one of the larger shells nearest the eye wall. Motions for you all to come inside. You must be tired. I will take first watch. Rest assured, I will not let them get the jump on me again. And the four of you group up within one of these shells and find what little sleep you can. You take a much well-earned long rest. And while you wait on the outside of the eye wall, while you dream of the dangers that lurk within it, that is where we will end our session for tonight. Thank you, everyone, so much for adventuring with us through this whole campaign up to this point. If you can't tell already, we are getting close to the climax of this adventure, and I cannot wait to see what waits for you on the other side of that eye wall, what adventures that will spur on ahead. Join us next Monday for the next episode of Depths of Nerethys. Check us out Wednesday for our normal campaign. We're resuming The Wake of Ao. I get to be a player in that one. That'll be a lot of fun. And then check us out on Saturday this week at 7 while we resume our Echoes of the Scar campaign. It's only episode 4, so if you're eager to catch up, there are episodes here on the channel that will get you up to speed on what's one of our most popular campaigns so far. But until then, all of you, go out there and make some chaos. Bye!